Okay, welcome back to the next installment of my long video series about the resistance boot camp that I went to here in Portland, Oregon with about 200 other Oregonians. Yet we're already talking about what it would take to put on another event like this. So if you're interested in finding out more information about getting on the email list or donating to the Act Blue link, please go to resistancebootcamp.us. If you're interested in finding all of these videos in one place, I am compiling them in a playlist on my YouTube called Nonviolent Resistance. So in the last couple of videos, I started talking about de-escalation, a crucially important skill in nonviolent resistance, especially if you're somebody who is going to be a safety marshal, if you're somebody who potentially could be interacting with law enforcement or counter protesters, or protesters who care just as much as you or I do about what the government is doing to vulnerable people in the way that they're absolutely fucking up and wrecking this country. But maybe they don't have nonviolence as their main goal, and maybe they are coming with sort of different intent and a different kind of energy. Now, de-escalation skills are also just really important within your group, right? Emotions are running really high. A lot of us are really scared. A lot of us are really angry. A lot of us are doing this for the first time. We're bringing together people who have different lived experience, different worldviews. We're pretty diverse. There's going to be conflict, right? We're going to have different ideas about what our group should be doing. We're going to have different political persuasions. We might not agree on much of anything except our commitment to nonviolent discipline and our commitment to stopping the authoritarian overreach of Donald Trump. So there may be conflict. So de-escalating is helpful within our group. Also, just helpful within ourselves, right? Being able to engage in skills so we can take ourselves down several notches will help us when we are attempting to engage with other people in our group, and definitely with counter protesters, with law enforcement, etc. So today I want to talk about the 6 Ds of de-escalation. First off, I just want to say that when we're talking about nonviolent direct actions, that we do a lot of rehearsing. We do a lot of role playing, a lot of gaming things out. I had somebody in my comments earlier today who was like, oh God, role playing makes me really uncomfortable. And I'm like, bro, me too. But when we work through these scenarios and we look at the possibilities and we have our bodies engaging in the kind of movements that we might be doing in real life, right? We're building that muscle memory. We're building that kind of quick reaction where we don't actually have to think that much, right? Because we're going to be in a position where we're under stress and where we have to make quick decisions. And so the more that you can rehearse and get comfortable and have an automatic response, the better off you're going to be, right? It's the same reason that we use a lot of mnemonic devices and we have a lot of lists, right? There's the Clara method, the ABCD method. This is the 6 Ds of de-escalation. In the moment when we have to call upon these concepts and skills and this training, our brain is going to be under a lot of stress. Our body is going to be under a lot of stress. And we may find that our brain wants to check out a little bit, right? It's not that easy to open up the file drawers and access the information. So we want to use mnemonic devices. We want to use different strategies so that the recall is much easier, much quicker, much more reliable. That's why we got the 6 Ds of de-escalation. So number 1 is direct intervention, right? Remember the last video when I talked about the Clara method when you are trying to de-escalate a verbal confrontation, right? So we want to have that kind of loose, open body language with our hands up. I'm very tall, so I like to kind of be low with my body. We're talking very slowly. We're using a gentle voice. So in this D, direct intervention, we usually lead with a question, and it's often an offer for help. Would you like to step over here and talk with me? What would help you feel safe right now? Now, I've done lots of rounds of de-escalation training from various organizations, including multiple rounds from some of the trainers that were at this event. And it doesn't matter what organization I do those trainings with, all of them have so many similarities to the non-authoritarian parenting techniques that I'm so familiar with. And I have found with my kids, sometimes it's not me offering to help, it's me asking for help. That helps that person feel empowered in the moment. So again, you have to assess in that direct intervention, you have to kind of assess who you're working with and what the situation is. I also found when I was a roller derby ref, this worked really well when you had an amped up coach or skater. Again, I'm really tall, so I'd often bend down and I would say, I'm so sorry. I'm pretty hard of hearing in my right ear because I am. Do you mind if we move over here where it's a little bit quieter? That would often be about me wanting to separate the coach from their line of angry skaters. But then also they feel like they're doing me a solid, right? I really want to hear you, but could you just do me a favor and move over here where it's quieter and easier for me? But maybe it might be something that you are offering them. Gosh, it's really hot right now. Can I get you a bottle of water? I have some over here. And that leads me to the second D. It's one of my favorites, distancing. You want to create space between the escalated person and the larger group. So sometimes that means you can move that person away from the group. And sometimes the group is marching and actually you just engage that person in a conversation and you stop walking. So the group continues to march on and the person that is escalated stands and talks with you. It also can be you communicating to people in the group like, hey, I've got this. Y'all go ahead, look that way, turn that way, so that the person who's really amped up doesn't have an audience, right? Think about when you've been in a state of significant emotional distress. You don't want everybody staring at you. This goes back to our desire in nonviolence to remember the dignity of other people, to remember the humanity of other people. When we act with compassion, we're moving in the right direction. Another tactic is delay, right? And again, these don't have to be done in this order, and you may apply some of them. You may find all of them are useful. You may find one gets the job done. So delay, sometimes people just need to chill the fuck out. They just need a space to calm down. We don't always have to get answers out of them. We don't always have to do something to resolve the situation. Sometimes if we just give them a few minutes, they can regulate themselves, right? If a small child is really dysregulated, overwhelmed, having a temper tantrum, often the most effective thing we can do as a parent is say, I'm right here with you. I'm here if you need anything. And they just have to work those feelings out. The next one is distraction, right? Can you redirect the attention? And this is not necessarily for the individual who is, causing conflict. This can look like counter protesters are chanting something terrible and you want the group to not take the bait. So you start leading a song. You get out your bullhorn and you start a chant. Or if counter protesters are trying to get the attention of your group, you're like, hey, we're all going to turn this way. The distraction is an attempt to focus your group back onto the protest message or the goal of the event. Counter protesters thrive on engagement, so you just want to gray rock them. You don't want to give them that. Yeah, they can keep screaming, we've got our thing we're doing over here. And our job as a de-escalator is to make sure that our group is not being escalated by whoever is attempting to notch up the stress. Okay, the next D is delegation, and this is a really important one. Do not be afraid to ask for help. Do not be afraid to say, I don't have the skills here. This is above my pay grade. Especially if you need a medic or you need your legal observer to come in. You need whoever in your group is the police liaison. In our group, we don't talk to the cops. What we do is we say, oh, let me go get the police liaison. We have one dedicated person whose job it is to interface with law enforcement. They are more trained than the rest of us. Do not be afraid if you are in a situation where you can't leave to turn to one of your fellow protesters and be like, I need you to go get Susie. I need you to go get the legal observer. Hey, Mike is filming today. I need a documentarian. I need somebody to be taking pictures. Go get Mike. And that brings me to the last D of de-escalation, documentation. I'm telling y'all, if somebody is really, really wound up and their behavior is pretty dysregulated, it is amazing how much self-control they can suddenly exert over themselves. If you're like, hey, I don't know if you're aware, but this is being filmed. Like, it could end up on the internet. Do you really want yourself on film, looking and acting like this? Even if nobody is actually filming it, someone who's really flipping out at your event, just letting them know, like, hey, I think somebody's live streaming this. I'm telling y'all, keep that one in your back pocket, right? And you want to say it in like a non-threatening way, not like I'm filming you, but like, oh, I think somebody in the crowd today is live streaming. And like, maybe you don't want your boss to see you like this. Maybe you don't want your mom to see you like this. Also, it's important for the safety of everybody there to have a documentarian, have somebody whose job it is to take photos and to take video of the event. Even if your group has a policy of like, we don't post photos online, you need to have a private file. But more than that, you need to have somebody at the ready. If there is an incident, it is being documented and everybody's aware. It's much harder for people to get away with things. And it actually, I would encourage you to think of it as like an assistive device. This is a tool that can help people regulate themselves. You're not trying to punish them. You're definitely not going to post their meltdown online, right? We want to focus on the humanity of other people. We want to focus on consent. We need to use this tool carefully. We need to understand context, but it is a powerful one. So anyway, I hope those 6 Ds were helpful. Direct intervention, delay, distancing, distraction, delegation, and documentation. I'll be back next time with pro tips for de-escalation from the trainers of the event and some that I have found useful as well. So please come back.